I'll go ahead and get started as people are still joining us. We are recording this, so if someone joins us partway and has questions that we answered early on, they can go back and look at the recording later. But we'll get off to a little bit of a slow start so people who are still trickling in won't miss much. Welcome to today's water cooler chat. I'm Jennifer Riem. I'm the Meeting Program Associate here at ESA, and the purpose of today's water cooler chat is to introduce you to our new virtual field trip call, go over the basics of what that looks like, what we're hoping to see submissions look like, and then turn things over to our guest panelists who are here to talk about virtual field trips in general, who have good experience with that and will have great advice for you as you plan these out. These are new for us, so this is a new and innovative session format that we're excited to try for the first time this year. So I will start by walking through what the submission form looks like as just a bare bones approach to what you need to put into the form so that when you go to do that, it's familiar to you. And then I'll turn things over to Ari, who is our local host chair this year, and he'll talk a little bit about what the committee is hoping to see in those submissions. So when you go to submit on our website, the first thing you will see is this call for proposals page. I've screenshotted exactly what it looks like on the website here. And as you can see, we actually have two calls open right now. We have social events and field trips. So we're talking about field trips today, but I just wanted to note they're the second one down. So sometimes people don't scroll all the way down, they don't see it. So you just go click that button, ignore the social event button. That's what you're clicking today to start a field trip submission. They do have the same deadline, so that April 22nd deadline at 5 p.m. Eastern is the same for both of these. Once you click that button, you'll start a new proposal. So you'll see the beginnings of that form. Here's what the first page of that form looks like. There are 4 steps total. The first 3 are where you're entering new information, and the 4th one, you're just confirming that information is correct before you finish your submission. The first page here is the program content. This is what people will actually see in the meeting program when they're looking at your field trip and deciding whether or not to join it. So think about it as something you're trying to persuade people to join when you write this. You have a title to start. Something that is descriptive and doesn't go on too long is generally good. You need a good amount of information in there, but if it goes on for an extremely long period of time, people just kind of tend to skim past it, we've noticed. So try to be concise, but also descriptive. That seems to work best. Once you've entered your title and agreed to the code of conduct, then you go a little further down and you see these 2 fields, which are the main thing on this page. The trip overview, which is where you're describing the theme and purpose of this trip. Why would someone want to go on this trip? What can they expect to experience? This is really an area to convince someone to come on your trip and to convince the committee that's reviewing your proposal that this is an exciting trip we should include in the program. You can link out to web pages if you have a website for the field site you're going to show us, or any other resources that might be useful. You can include those here. And this will all be viewable by attendees in the end. The trip itinerary does not appear in the program, so that's the second field here. This one is more for the committee to evaluate what you're planning to do in a little more detail. Think of it as a series of stops or steps. If this was a physical field trip, this would be sort of a list of places the bus is going to go, key stops along the way, that kind of thing. So you're translating this to a virtual experience. What are the steps along the way someone can expect to experience, but in a virtual format. This can be tentative. It doesn't have to be something you've exactly hammered out. We know everyone's still in the process of planning these, but give us an idea of what you're planning to do so the committee can evaluate the proposal. The second step is the people step. This is where you will enter, at minimum, 1 organizer. It could just be you have 1 organizer, you're running the trip by yourself. But it could be you have co-organizers, people who are helping you. So you can list as many of those as you want. This is showing you how you search for a name. In this example, I'm using my name and I'm searching to list myself as an organizer. Most people are entering themselves as an organizer to start. And then once you search the name, you'll see a list like this. I've blurred out the details just for privacy concerns, but you'll see a list of names that are yours or similar to yours, and you're just picking the right one. If the email is a little incorrect or the affiliations may be out of date, you can click select and edit to update that information within the proposal before you proceed. And if the list is not, if the name isn't there, maybe it's not listed because you're new to ESA, in which case welcome. And then you just click not found here and you enter the new name there. However you get there, once you've entered the name that you need, you'll see a list that looks like this. I'm showing an example where I've gone back through that process and also entered a co-organizer, so you can see what it looks like when we have both roles listed here. It's pretty simple for field trips. It's really just those two roles. And that has gotten us most of the way through the form. We're now in the last step where you're entering new information. This is the scheduling step. Mainly, we want to know if there are other sessions that this trip should not conflict with. Maybe you're running a field trip and a symposium and they're linked, or sorry, they're not related, but you want to make sure that they don't happen at the same time. So that would be an instance where you list the other session as something that should definitely not conflict with this. Please put them at different times. You can't do both at the same time. You're only one person. So just put that down as a conflict. Or maybe you know of an organized oral session on the exact same topic as your field trip. You're not running it, but it's, you know, people who are interested in one are probably interested in the other. Again, just list it there as a known conflict, and we'll take that into consideration when we're making scheduling decisions. And then for the second field, you're letting us know if sessions are linked. So maybe going back to that symposium example, you're running a symposium and it is related. You want to make sure the field trip happens the same day as the symposium or as close as possible. Let us know that these are linked and we'll try to put them as close together in scheduling as we can. And then the last thing we want to know from you is maximum attendance. This is really a measure of how many people do you think you can successfully engage with the approach you're planning to take. So it's not a clearly defined number. It's really up to you. If you think, oh, I can probably do this without 25 people, then please list that and give us that sense here so that we can plan accordingly. You may not have the clearest idea. It may be a new activity you've never done before. Just please make your best guess. If you start visualizing a certain number of people and think that's way too many, I won't be able to engage everyone, you know, pick a number lower than that. It's an estimate. We're just going to use that to try and figure out how many people should be concurrently in one of these sessions, and also what these trips might look like. It may help us make some technical decisions down the line. And then for the last step, there is a confirmation page. You're just reviewing everything you've entered so far to make sure it looks correct. It's a very simple step, but it's also very important. It's often overlooked. So one of the best things you can do to make sure your proposal gets evaluated properly is make sure that you didn't make any mistakes here. Just take a glance, make sure, it only takes a minute, make sure you didn't make any mistakes as you scroll through. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but when you get to the very bottom of the page, scroll all the way down, you'll see a conclude submission button. So after you click this, you're done. Your submission is in the system. You have a complete proposal, and we'll take a look at it when it's time to review it. If you need to come back and make any changes, so let's say you submit it and the next day you realize, oh, I forgot to put my co-organizer. That's fine. You can go back and make that change. You'll get an automated email when you finish this last step, and also one when you start at the very beginning. So you'll get two emails, start and finish. Either of those has a link in it that will take you back to the form that you can use to make any updates you need until the deadline. So once the deadline is passed, if you realize you made a mistake, just email us. We'll fix it for you. But before then, you can go in and do that directly yourself. So you could go in, start a proposal, stop to think about it, come back another day, finish. You don't have to do it all at once. As long as you check your email, you should have that link that'll help you get back in at any time. I wanted to briefly mention the meeting theme just because this is a question that we get a lot. It doesn't have to match the meeting theme. Your proposal does not have anything to, it doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with vital connections in ecology. It could, it's always nice, but it doesn't have to. A really strong proposal may or may not match the meeting theme. It's okay if it doesn't, but we just thought we'd mention it because we do get that question a lot. We do have proposals that do, but we also have proposals that don't, and that's generally true every year. And now I will turn things over to Ari to talk about what the committee is looking for in these trips. And I've got a couple of screenshots of text from the website that we can reference if needed.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. So welcome everybody. Obviously unique times, and since this meeting is virtual, the essence of a field trip is going to be a little bit different. When we all think about what we want with a field trip when we go to a conference, there's a couple things I think a lot of us that comes to mind for a lot of us. One, it's just a change up of getting out and getting a local flavor for the place. And one of the exciting things about going to a conference is going and getting to see a new area. And because we are all ecologists, we want to see something about the natural history of the area. But along with that, there's something about learning something about the local culture or community that an area has to offer, and the multifacets of that. So that's a kind of a second kind of reason I think a lot of people would sign up for field trips. And then third is just to get to know some other people in the conference and just to chat with other people and maybe blow off steam, or just informally meet people and think about things in a new way. So obviously we can't do any field trips in person, and we lose some of the essence of doing those things, but it is important to try and think, what of those elements can we keep in mind when doing a virtual conference? And so I think we want to try and encourage people to think about those types of things, those types of functions that a field trip normally has, and what can we retain of that in a virtual field trip, and what kinds of novel things can we do in a virtual field trip that we might not be able to do in a normal field, in a in-person setting. And so these field trips can be a number of things. It could be visiting a local preserve, and I guess the one thing I should say is, obviously Long Beach is where we're going to be holding this virtually. We would normally have field trips to local places in Long Beach. And it's important to stress that what we'd like to say is that field trips can be open to wherever you're from. So if you're attending ESA from another country, another continent, and you have something that you want to show about your local community or your local preserve or the local site where you're working or the field station, those are all on the table. So that's one of the positives about having this, is that it can be a very international flavor in terms of bringing those of us in the conference to where you are, to sample where you're doing, and extending some of the underlying themes that might be accompanying the research that you do. And with that said, there's a number of ideas of types of things you can do. It could be a virtual field trip focusing on the preserve, preserve in your area. It could be the urban area, urban bike path. Could be a nature center or a museum. It could be something about the local communities and flavors, or the actual local people that are integrated into your research. And it can showcase local heroes that actually may be doing something related to what you do, or that are an integral part of the community where you do your research. So I think, and Jennifer, you can step in any time, correct me if I'm wrong. So those are some of the types of options you have on the table in terms of types of themes you could include in a virtual field trip. But the most important thing is that so on the website are some guidelines about, it's going to have to be a limit of 60-minute live session. And in that session, you would have a pre-recorded, you'd have a pre-recorded, you'd have your field trip pre-recorded to upload. We can't do any live streaming because of just limited logistical capacity.
Well, the discussion is live, just to note. The discussion is live.
Yes, but the discussion is live, but the actual recording wouldn't be of the field.
Yeah, but you don't have to do recordings, just to clarify. I mean, right. They're nice. If you're going to show video, it should be recorded rather than going and live streaming outside. So I just want to clarify, we mean you don't go out in a field site and live stream out there, just because the connectivity will be an issue. But any video you want to include should be pre-recorded, but you can absolutely do live discussion all you want.
Right, and it doesn't have to be a pre-recorded video of your site either. So you could decide any other way you want to do that.
And you can do slides instead. Like it's flexible, yes.
Right. So the key there, and then that's just going to dovetail into what Jennifer just commented on, is that we will, in that live discussion, what's important, and the most probably important thing is, and this will be for any field trip, is that people are obviously engaged in either with other people and the environment. And so what we would really encourage, the key component of a successful proposal would be how you're going to engage people that are attending your virtual field trip. And that's really important. And so there's lots of ways to do that. And there's, and so that's the essence of what we are looking for. And so someone is asking, is all the narration live, or can that be pre-recorded? I think you could have, oh, and Jorge's typing an answer, so he's just one step ahead of me. I'll let him type the answer. And the point is that is because there's such a wide variety of ways of engaging people in a theme in a virtual field trip, we are very lucky to have three experts that precisely work in a large degree with different ways to do that. And so this is why I'd like to give examples and turn this over now to three people who have been specializing with doing virtual field trips. We have Jorge Ramos, Associate Director doing Environmental Education from Jasper Ridge, not to be confused with Jorge Ramos from Telemundo, but he is equally famous. And then we have Angie Patterson from the Black Forest Consortium, who is dually also a PhD candidate at Columbia, but she has been specializing at the Black Forest Consortium, looking at doing outreach in virtual, and because of COVID, doing more virtual tours to do work with developing curricula for people visiting the reserve. And then we also have Benjamin Bravo, who is a Preserve Resources Manager for the Environmental Inquiry Center at Sonoma State University. And what's great about these three is that with the variety of specializations. Jorge worked aquatic systems. Angie does work with plant physiology, she's a botanist. And then we have a person who works with mammals, which is Benjamin. So they're going to give you a smorgasbord of types of approaches of things that you could do to engage people virtually through a field trip. Okay. Okay. So with that, I'm going to like to turn it over to, so Jennifer, do you want to add anything that I didn't cover? Sorry, before we turn it over?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay, great. Okay, great. All right, so I'd like to turn it over now to Angie, Jorge, and Ben.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hosting us today to speak on virtual trips and how we've adapted some of our lesson activities and in-person activities to the virtual realm. So Jorge and Ben and I actually met last year when field stations were closing in result because of the shutdowns due to the pandemic. And there was a call for those who are members of the OBFS, or the Organization for Biological Field Stations, to come together to kind of figure out how to create some type of educational resources for teachers who would bring students into the field. And so through an award of a COVID-19 NSF Rapid Grant, leaders of the OBFS actually began to create and develop a project called the Virtual Field. And this project actually helped us figure out, what is all involved in thinking about how to portray the environment and to make it an immersive educational experience for students and even, the public eventually. I was going to share my screen, but it looks like I don't have Sheen's sharing privileges right now. But once that's set up, we have, let me show you here. So everyone's seeing the virtual field. So I think somebody put it in the chat as well. The virtualfield.org is where you could find a host of video content that was created by people like me, Ben, and Jorge at these field stations to give you some kind of idea of the things you could do and show when you're giving a tour. So there's a couple things that I want to make sure that everyone knows when thinking about creating this type of content. And really, you have to think about, how you're going to be using a video or a photo story. And what it does is requires you to actually think about the audience that you're going to show this to. So you might have audiences that are more general, they might not know anything about a unique features that you're showing in the environment, or they may, or you might have probably more assuming with this conference, a more science-oriented audience that they may have a deeper understanding of what they're looking at, but also you can engage them in a little bit differently, and have deeper conversations, maybe about the research that's happening there and whatnot. So another thing to think about are the goals of a field trip. You want to think about, what's the purpose? Like, why am I showing what I'm showing, or why do I want people to um, learn about, this center, or the people that work at this center? Um, so that's something that you need to keep in mind when thinking about it, because it's going to frame the story. You know, the actual content, the flow, of what you present to your audience. Um, Next, what you want to do is decide on what medium you want to use to tell that story, right? So, do you want to use video? Do you want to just do a photo slideshow? Um, do you want to, just shoot like basic, simple 2D video, or do you want to do something a little bit more complicated, like a 360-degree video or virtual tour? Um, and that's going to prompt you to think about what equipment you will need to make that happen. And you know, you can really keep it simple. We all started, using our cell phones um, to create content and to walk through fields or walk on trails. Um, I started to incorporate using GoPros and 360-degree cameras to kind of create this more immersive experience. And also, you can engage your audience differently, especially students. If a group of them are able to get like the Google Cardboard um, boxes for viewing things, you have to think about what you need. But by all means, it doesn't have to be complicated at all, because the more complicated it gets, the more skill set you'll need to carry it out. So in thinking about that, you also need to practice the craft um, behind producing good content. So if you're going to use photos, a photo slideshow, and you want to portray something in particular, you're going to need to make sure that your photos are clear, they're nice quality, high resolution, things like that. So that it's really, really clear, really nice, pretty, pictures that you want to show off. And when you're doing video, it's even a little bit more complicated. It's not as it may seem easy, but it's not as easy as one thinks when you actually start to do it. You want to think about just the simple things as using your cell phone. You want to make sure to record landscape mode if you're going to upload it to some things like YouTube or Vimeo. You want to if you're going to do social media, you're going to want to shoot horizontally like this. You want to set any device that you use with the highest resolution so you can have really nice, crisp, clear video. And then you want to think about when you're actually recording in the field, you want to shoot slowly. You don't want to have a lot of blur happening, causing motion sickness or whatnot for the viewer. And there's things that you can use, there's tools that you can use to actually help you do that and create some good content. You can buy some gimbal stabilizers, and if you're maybe a marine site or you want to show things underwater, you got to think about the type of camera, right? You want to think about if you need waterproof housing or purchase an actual waterproof 360 or GoPro camera. That's something you need to consider. You also have to consider video editing software. If you're going to do that, it could be as simple as, iMovie, or you can get as complicated as Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere Pro. And even when you're editing 2D video versus 360-degree video, that is a complete total different process. And so you want to think about how complicated you want to go. Then you're going to want to think about the type of platform that you want to use to display your content. All of this, I believe ESA will be hosting the live virtual field trips through Zoom, but you may have content that's housed on YouTube or Vimeo, okay, that you want your audience to go to. You may want them to go to Google Earth or Google Street View, or use other platforms like Thinglink and Matterport. I think Ben might talk about those other options. So you got to think about whether or not you're going to have some asynchronous versus synchronous activity when you have this type of event. So, okay. I think I'm going to, another thing I want to mention is engaging your audience. Very, very important. And Jorge might touch more on that. But, you know, activities such as creating scavenger hunt games, or you know, quizzes, or maybe having a prize at the end for someone who can identify as many plants or animals they see in a video, or whatnot. Having a bio blitz might work, you know, is an option. So you want to make sure that there's ways you can engage your audience. I just wanted to show a little bit more content here on the virtual field platform. Inside, you'll find ecosystem exploration videos, which are silent videos that, you know, all of us have, me, Jorge, and Ben have contributed some videos from our field sites where you walk, it's very short, 3 to 5 minute videos. You walk through a habitat or unique ecosystem showing some very cool features. And this is more used for educational purposes to teach field ecology. But you can make it as light, you know, as you want, if you want to show that to whoever's joining your field trip. And then we have live from the field type events, which is another route you could take, where you can actually, the structure that they have here works very well for virtual experiences. So it's basically what they have done is had 3 to 4 different field stations come together on a live portion of a Q&A to discuss about the research that's focused on a theme. But let's say, I don't know, 20 minutes before, there's like a series of 8-minute videos pre-recorded from these field stations that actually show what the research that's actually happening there. So they show that back-to-back live, these pre-recorded videos, and then they come together, the researchers come together to answer audience questions. So that's another way to kind of engage your audience. So I'll show just a couple of videos that I've shot in the very beginning. And, you know, this one is just a very basic walk through around one of our reservoirs here at Black Rock Forest. It's the Alec Meadow Reservoir. And this was requested by some teachers who would bring their students out, and they couldn't come out because, you know, they couldn't make any field trips, but they usually did mindfulness hikes, and they just wanted a silent video where they can prompt students to kind of connect with the environment. So this was one type of video that was shot, and it's nice because you could hear the water running, you could hear the breeze, you could hear the footsteps that I take. So very simple type of video. Here it's a little bit more complicated video, but super fun. This is where I was using the 360-degree camera, and it might be a little jittery, but you want to prompt your audience to make sure that they're looking at this video like at the highest resolution on YouTube or whatever platform. But it's such a cool type of video because you can actually, the audience can actually look around and click and drag on the video to see what the hiker is looking at, okay? And you can actually pause it and also look around. You can see the person wearing a helmet here with the camera, and you could check out the view at the top of Black Rock Mountain. So we would have these 20-minute hikes, kind of showcasing our favorite trails, and you can engage your audience by asking questions about what they see or whatnot. Another type of video, this is going to be part of the ecosystem exploration videos that we have, and this is showcasing the unique features of a vernal pool in the forest. And here, you can these videos are silent, but you can talk through your videos. You can actually talk about what you're seeing, why is it important, why are vernal pools important, and things like that, so the audience could get something out of it. And maybe you could do a series of short videos about your field station or sites that you want to display. Okay, and then the last one, I was thinking about, this would be a cool thing. We have these critter cams in the forest that showcase the wildlife, and you can take this video and perhaps embed it in one of those virtual tour platforms that Ben will talk about, to kind of showcase what wildlife lives, where you study or where you work, or ask, I don't know, have fun on identifying cool things that you see. So there's a lot of flexibility with it. You can really do anything with this. So I just wanted to, before moving on, just point out that, you could learn more about the content on how to use a smartphone to make field video, how to edit your field video at the Virtual Field website. There's also LTER Net. The network actually has a webpage talking about using video to communicate science. And they have some really great resources here to help you think about structuring your virtual, your video tour. And then if you really want to get into it, there's like a sci-fi funchallenge.org has an actual syllabus and class lessons if you really want to get into kind of recording about nature and things like that. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop sharing and pass it on to Jorge.
Hello, let's see. Oh, was I next or was Ben next?
I thought I was next.
Oh, maybe Ben. Okay.
Go ahead. Go for it, Ben. I'm the most basic one, so you all can
right.
go.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Bravo. I just want to quickly say that I was born and lived in Long Beach for a large portion of my life, and that I'm very excited the ESA conference will be there, or virtually will be there. And if anyone's looking for good sites, San Gabriel Riverbed and El Dorado Nature Center are really fun places. I think that would make a great tour. Other notes. When I look at different software and looking at different tools, I look for things that are easy to use, that are fairly simple, or there might be a complicated process that goes on in the background, but the user interface is really simple. And then I also really like things that are free. So the things I'll be talking about today, some of them are free, some of them are just really easy to get started with. All right, so first, one tool that you can use, let me do screen share. One tool that's really good for quickly taking 360 photos, or it's called a photosphere, is the Google Street View. So I'm just going to show you just a really brief clip of myself using it. So hopefully there shouldn't be sound because there's irritating background music with this. But you just follow the dot and you take photos on a smartphone app, and you take about 36 photos. I think that's what it was when I counted it. I'm gonna skip ahead. And so you take photos all the way around you, and at the very end you get a 360 photo. And part of the thing I liked about this is it was just based on your smartphone. There could be some smartphone limitations if you have an older model. The smartphone I have is moderately old, and it seemed to work out fine. And you follow this app, and then you can upload those photos to Google Street View. And sorry, one second, look at my notes. So that's a great way to get a photo. It does the stitching for you, and you can upload it easily to Google Street View. I'll touch on that in just a minute. Another app, this is another smartphone app that's great for taking, it's not so much the 360 photos, but it's good at putting them kind of spatially in a program, is the Mapillary app. And the way this, hopefully this is a good enough photo of it. The way this one works is you take a photo, series of photos, or actually I think you could take a video and it'll turn it into photos, and it'll create a pathway that you can upload online of where you're visiting. So these are both tools that don't by themselves have educational captions with them, but they are a good way to just get started. I believe they're both free. Yeah, I'll show examples right now of those. So let me show you Google Street View. So what is, oh, sorry, a lot of windows open. Let's see. So Google Street View, here's a photo taken from Google Street View. And Google Street Views, I was just blown away when I first started using this, how easy it was to use, how kind of fun it is to use. You can take a 360 photo, and there are some limitations. If you were to kind of move around in this, you can actually see places where there's glitches, where, you know, but I think if you go slower, you can actually kind of solve some of that problem. So there are some glitches, but look at this, the amount of detail that you get from this is really great. And the application does the stitching for you, which I love. And then say you've done that, you want to upload those, you can from the app. And then what you get, you can also look at the photospheres on a map. So these blue points are the photospheres that I took. This blue line is from a professional Google Street car, I think that went through. But if you were to go to Google Maps, you could even get access to these if you move the little Google Maps person. So you can click on other people's preserves, other things in the area. You can make your own tour and have people click along and click on other things. And as someone who really likes doing GIS, this is kind of a nice, very light version of mapping that I think is kind of adheres to that. There are some limitations, of course, Google Street View. There's, I did this pretty quickly, and there's some black spots, some glitches, and your feet sometimes could be in the photo. If you look at some that are done more by professionals, and you have access to photo editing software, you can remove your foot, you can remove the camera. You can also take a photo with a 360 camera like a GoPro and import it into Google Street View, into the app. It's just a panoramic JPEG, so it's not like a very complicated file. Import it into the app, have that go up to Google Street View, and have maybe a photo that doesn't have kind of weird stitching issues. But if you want to just go into your backyard, go anywhere, take a photosphere, you can do that, and it's really fun and easy to use. So that's Google Street View. And let's see, show you really quickly Mapillary. Mapillary, I would say, has some differences to Google Street View, but it does allow you to make kind of this connected tour. And kind of like with Google Street View, you can see a lot of the other work that people have made public. So that's really fun. This is just our preserve. And if you kind of time out your photos when you're taking them with the Mapillary app, you can get kind of a nice trail. And I should mention that this is actually 360 photos that have been geo-referenced by the camera and that I uploaded separately. But if you were to have a 360 camera connected to your phone while you're using the app, you can walk, and I think it'll kind of record it, the photos in a series. So that's kind of that. And you can, if you do them close enough in time, oh, these aren't the best photos. If you do them close enough in time, you can actually get kind of a trail, a series of connected photos of your preserve. So that's that one. And the last one that I'm gonna talk about that's really fun, and that's kind of my, sorry, I'm just looking at my list of links here. Where did it go? Nope, that's not it. I'm sorry. So Thinglink, and Angie mentioned Thinglink, and she was one who kind of introduced me to it. And it's just a ton of fun. What you can do with Thinglink. So Thinglink has, still the 360 photos, but now you can put it, you can put captions on the things that you're looking at. So this is just a map of our preserve, nothing special there, but you can embed these captions or tour points, sorry. And let me go to this one. So this is a 360 photo that I took with the camera with a GoPro, but you can probably do the same thing with Google Street View. It'll just have a little more glitches in it. And you could embed captions. And so you can have your tour points. You can go from one point to the next point. We have a camera trap set up here. So I actually have photos of some of our wildlife where they were captured in the camera trap. It's from a different angle, so it's kind of hard to see that, but these photos are icons. These are skunk, and we have a mule deer. Oh, sorry, there's the mountain lion. There's a mountain lion right here that was coming up over the edge of the riverbed, so that's really awesome. You can embed links to other sites. So here's a link to my profile on the web page. So if you have people in your 360 photos, that's kind of a way to acknowledge them and say, hey, look at this person's profile on our website, on our staff page. You could have graphs. Let's see if this is just a photo. It's not anything special, but if you had graphs or any kind of data you want to showcase, there is ways to just embed an image or embed something from that. So there's one more thing. Oh yeah, and I also have some, you can add videos to this as well. So maybe you want a 2D video of someone speaking. Maybe there's someone who is speaking right at this spot. You can have a video of that person speaking. I have a video here taken by our 360 camera of this exact site. This might be too much, picture within picture. It might look a little strange, but you can put YouTube videos and embed them in this Thinglink application. And then if you want to go to the next tour spot, I'm going to go back to the starting place. And now I'm back here on this bridge, this walkway, and you could add captions. I did this mostly for demonstration purposes. I haven't actually taught classes with this yet, but you can definitely just imagine all the things you could do with this. And there's even more types of media that you can embed. So that one's really fun. Another side note, let's see. If anyone here really likes using Google Photos and you have a 360 photo, Google Photos itself can allow you to see things in 360. Sometimes 360 photos aren't stitched, or they're like two fisheye images, and it's kind of hard to work with. But if you have, if you use a GoPro and you take a 360 photo, and put in Google Photos, it'll automatically kind of know that it's a 360. And let me see, I believe that's all that I have. Oh shoot, sorry, one more thing. If anyone here likes using Google My Maps, you can definitely do something. Let me see where my example is. If you have, you want to look for a simple mapping software that's not like a full GIS software, you can use Google My Maps, and you can have a bunch of photo points in your map. Or if you got videos or 360 videos, you can also have that as well. And this is from the designers, users, not the user standpoint, the person designing the map, but what users can see is something like this, and they can click on this and it'll open up. And I use Google My Maps a lot because it's kind of a free, really easy software compared to ArcGIS, where it's a little more limited. It does have a cost barrier. This is something that even people who don't really do GIS can use. Okay, that's it for me.
Hey everyone. So yes, if you have any questions, please ask us. So I'll just show one more example, but we'll make this a conversation. Let's see, or Ari or Jen, if you notice something that you might want to ask so that other people also learn. Let me see. Where's so many links, like Ben said. Let me So I have just examples like very basic. I'm like the most basic one. Let's see. Here is, so for those that don't know Jasper Ridge, you know, I just uploaded pictures and videos to one Google document, and they're all here. So you put the order, it's the easiest thing to do. And then once you want to show it, you can do this, you know, synchronously or asynchronously. I get those confused. Anyways, so like you can just scroll some. So one thing that we haven't talked about is bandwidth. It's always good to think about you as the one that's showing. You might see it good in your screen, but the recipient might not. So always aim for the slowest movement, highest resolution. And if you're able to share your link in case your video fails, you know, and then you just upload the pictures. You can do the virtual trip using videos. Oh, this is a cool one. There are big rain events, so you can put different seasons so that people see, oh, this is how it looks in the winter, this is how it looks in the fall. I always like to show people, you know, there's a lot of ecologists that are like, oh, I'm a fan of the pristine and the outdoors, and there's never people in their videos, and I'm like, we cannot deny humans are everywhere now. So, and humans always at good scale. So this is a little hike, you know, it might look good on my screen right now, but it probably looks really choppy on yours. So it's always good to think, you know, I should probably walk slower, right? And then you can zoom in with pictures. Pictures are the best, I think, because then you can explain about the picture, many things. And then the other thing I was going to show, yeah, so like, you know, these are all just images. You can touch on anything. Another one is the story maps. I don't know how many of you have used story maps. This one was made by a student here at Jasper Ridge, Catherine Nolan. So you can incorporate Esri maps, images, you can make your own text, you can add aerial maps, you know, vegetation maps if you have that for your space. So those are very, very fun. Another one was a pre-recorded video that, oh, here it is. I wanted to show you, this was made by students. And 25 students got together to build a tour of Jasper Ridge. So you could let's see, hold on. These are my TAs last year. And then they recorded this tour, and oh, sorry. So each student recorded a little section of 3 minutes. And this one was the first student talked about the land acknowledgement of the space. So if you have one, you can do that. And we made a little trail map that showed like where we're gonna go. So and this is like an hour long. So as you can see, there's, you know, you can make it interactive. Different students present on something different. And yeah, so those are examples. Mine are very low key, all with iPhone, not even microphone, not even a tripod. So it can be done. And all of, like Ari said, these were all very nature oriented. You can also do urban walks. You can also do, you know, if you want to showcase a climate justice office, you know, what they're doing. If you want to show maybe artists working in environmental issues, there's many things that you could potentially choose to try. So, hey, we'll stop there. Oh, questions. Has there been any concern with copyright sharing videos and someone else claiming them? I don't think my videos are super high quality, so no one steals mine. But if I have not heard of anything like that. I have heard that on some talks, they're not recorded because they're using images that are not theirs. So some schools are very strict.
I just make sure to cite what if I do use something, and you know that is something that you should look into. Like if you wanted to, you know, borrow footage showing deer, you know, somebody else's wildlife camera. If it's hosted on Vimeo, you can actually search for kind of like royalty-free videos to use to incorporate into your video. So I would search for those, like, you know, stock footage that's royalty free, and things like that before, you know, first. And then if you can't, you know, ask for permission to use, and always credit the photo or video clip that you used.
Yes, that's a good point. We definitely want to be careful not to upload things that, you know, we don't have the rights to use. So we ask you to, you know, be careful about permissions. If you have questions, just let us know. We're navigating this new area as well. In terms of things getting stolen from the platform, I can tell you that anything that gets uploaded to our website for the virtual platform that we're going to use, only registered attendees will be able to go in and see it. So it's not going to be out in the wide open web. And all attendees have agreed to a general code of conduct. So ethical behavior is generally something people have agreed to. So it is more protected than if you uploaded it elsewhere. But yes, please be mindful of what you do have permission to share versus don't. We're hoping most people are able to go out and take pictures or video of areas that you have access to that doesn't already have a lot of good video and photo out there, so that it's in some ways maybe unique content. But yes, as Angie was saying, I think if you can get the rights to something, then that's fine too. There was another question about screen sharing. What do you guys find works best for that? Because I think we're going to generally follow the guidance of our vendor, but we haven't quite gotten this far in the conversation with them yet. Do you have feelings about what works better there?
I've in some cases I've been able to show content, screen share video. It may seem a little jerky, but the when I give a presentation, the clip is like less than a minute. For something that's longer, you may want to think about asynchronous type of viewing or experiencing, and then have people come back. And maybe during the live, you know, during the live portion, you can have people go on their own, view content, come back to the room and discuss what you saw, or if you're going to show something together, maybe use a series of photos as opposed to video, or a 360 photo that you can orient people to, or something like that.
Makes sense. We have a question in the chat about experts joining. So I'm not sure if I quite understand the question, but I thought I would try and answer it. So if you're running a trip, really the people who are running the trip are you and anyone else you've invited to help you. So maybe, you know, if Jorge was running a trip, maybe he'd have Ben and Angie joining him to help answer questions about areas he didn't know as much about, and they were all working together. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. We're not really going to send any experts to your trip to answer questions. It's really whoever you bring with you. So if you are running a trip in an area and you feel like it's a little outside your expertise, you might want to partner with someone else who can help you with that. That said, ecologists are generally friendly. They're usually asking questions because they're excited and they want to learn more. They're usually not trying to stump you. They're just trying to learn more. So it's a friendly endeavor, even though it could involve some technical questions, depending on who's in your audience.
Yeah, you can always send them to the website of your preserve for more information.
Sorry, I just had a question that I think comes up a lot of times. So this is one for Angie, one for Benjamin. Angie, can you speak to, or actually someone else just had a question, but I was going to say, Angie, could you speak to like using, if you're documenting things, but then you want with video, and like a 360 camera, but then you're trying to piece together things, and then you kind of want to focus in. You have like someone has a zoom lens to focus in on a bird that you can't use a normal camera with. What I understand, that's a no-no to piece together different types of equipment's film. Is that true, or is that okay? Could you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't think I've experimented with trying to piece together photo with 360-degree video. I know you can like have a 360-degree video and then like a second later have a 360-degree photo embedded for like 10 seconds to a minute or whatever you want, and then go have another video attached afterwards. You can overlay text. You might be able to embed an image along the way and have it show on the screen. I have seen 360-degree video content on YouTube where they have graphics showing. So I would imagine it's a possibility. I just never personally did it.
Okay. And then, thank you. And then also for Benjamin, with Thinglink, can you embed different like audio video? You showed examples of visuals. Can you embed sound videos, sound files?
You can do sound files. Yeah, they have, when you go to like, there's like 3 or 4 options for what you can add. And one of them is add an icon, and some of that's add sound. So you can click on sound.
Okay. Great.
There's something else. Yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry. I should note Thinglink, the version I was using was the free trial version, which I think there's like 1,000, I believe it's about 1,000 views limit. So if anyone is using Thinglink, it's really fun, but if you want to use it maybe for the long term, consider buying some kind of subscription, or maybe for the ESA conference, if you expect to have a ton of people looking at it, you might need to do that.
And I think someone had mentioned something about when you do share your screen, you can optimize. You can share your sound, and there's another box next to it that says optimize for video clip. And I'll just show that really fast here. So make sure if you're gonna have sound in your videos, click on that, and you can also click on optimize for video clip. Or you might have like just audio files that you want to share. So like of birds or whatever. So you have to click that.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we're almost out of time, but does anyone have any last questions or comments before we wrap up?
There's one more question in the chat. With the story map suggestion, the site showed ArcGIS. Is that where one finds a story map platform?
Yep. Yeah, I think if you just Google Esri story maps, and they're free. I think, yeah, story maps are free. I think if you want more high-level Esri add-ins, your institution might have an Esri account, although they're super expensive. But maybe education-wise, you can get a discount. But libraries, check your library too. Libraries sometimes actually have Esri accounts because they have a map collection. So always ask before paying for anything. Everything should be free for education.
Yeah, I've to make a story map, I believe you need an ArcGIS subscription, ArcGIS Online subscription. But to view them, a lot of them are just examples are online, and you can make it private or public too.
Yeah,
if you want.
Oh yeah, and story maps you can also translate. It's really fast to just translate into another language also. Oh, a microphone question. This might be Ben or Angie.
Yeah, I've never I haven't shared just audio, but as long as you can share your screen and share the audio file that's playing on it, then yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really been using lapel mics internally, so the question was specifically asking us to recommend one of those, and I'm Not very familiar.
Yeah, no, sorry. Sorry, John.
I could see that being an issue, especially if you're trying to record outside, that you're, just probably a lot of background noise sometimes.
Yeah, I think if you do like a simple, if you go on like Amazon and type in like lapel or smartphone, microphone, some options do come up. Some are wireless. They could get really expensive really fast, but I think there's some cheaper options out there.
And if you are recording at a distance, they do make microphones that you can attach to your smartphone if you're using your smartphone, and they have like windsocks on them. And from the virtual field, we found that does help. Even if you're just doing a tour without walking, you could, if you don't want like this harsh wind sound, there's cheap solutions to fix it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everyone who joined us today, and especially to our guest panelists, Angie, Ben, and Jorge, and to Ari for being here as our local host chair. I think the advice you guys have given everybody was excellent, and it was really, really valuable to hear from all of you and see your experiences. And thank you for all the resources that you showed us.
Yeah, thanks, Ben, Jorge, and Angie. Thanks. It was really informative. Really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yes, very much.
No problem. Thank you.
We're happy to see Long Beach in August. So show us Long Beach, Ari. I expect 5 field trips from you, Ari. Okay.
No pressure.
Yeah,
Sounds
exactly.
good.
Okay,
Bye,
great.
everyone.
We're hoping to go in a future year to Long Beach, so
Perfect.
it will not be our last chance.
Awesome.
Great.
Have fun, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
So much. And for those of you who attended, if you're still with us, we will put up a recording in the next day or two. We did record this session, so look for that if you want to view any of it again. Thank you.